Ladies and gentlemen, what's poppin' with you? It's your man Sim. I'm with Ron from Still Knicks Fans, and we're gonna go ahead and break this thing down about Brittney Griner, ladies and gentlemen. Ah man, Ron, what's going on with you, man? Hey, let me just get to that first before we even break it down.
I'm good, man. Happy to be here as always, chopping it up with you no matter what we talk about. If it's basketball, if it's life, if it's music, I'm here. It's always a good time, even when the situation is kind of rough. 'Cause this is a
Yeah,
rough one.
it's a rough one, man. 9 years. She gets 9 years, convicted of drug smuggling and with criminal intent. Drug smuggling with criminal intent. Now, from all the reports that I read, she had 2 vape pens, less than 1 gram of hashish oil. Less than 1 gram. And she gets convicted of criminal drug smuggling with criminal intent. I mean,
Wow.
listen, if what is the criminal intent? Distribution? Because if she's distributing less than 1 gram of oil, she's gonna be re-upping really, really quick, like
Right,
super duper quick, right?
right.
I mean, I can't understand where the criminal intent comes in. Maybe you can explain it to me.
Honestly, the only thing I was thinking is that maybe they were not giving us all of the information. Maybe, you know, she had some type of representation in some form or fashion that was allowing the story to kind of be a little bit controlled, and the government out there was adhering to that, so they wasn't putting everything out there. But then when you hear what the actual particulars are, I mean, that this is minute stuff, man. This is not.
Right.
How can you say that's criminally intent to sell when you're talking about I mean, look at what we're actually talking about here. Like, what are you getting from that? Like, I don't. i- If they want to say now, it could be that she tripped herself up. Maybe she said it was for somebody else and not for her.
Well, no, I think she said it was for her. She
Okay,
did,
okay,
right? She admitted to it. She admitted to having it and that it was hers. Okay.
okay.
And, she said that she was stress packing, meaning, she was, on the go packing. She had to get packed and she forgot it was in there. She also presented a prescription from a doctor for marijuana use for pain. Now, she didn't take it before tournaments because she could be disqualified, but she also presented a prescription from her doctor. Some people will say, well, that can go here or there. Anyone can go get a prescription nowadays. People will say that. And my argument is, where is the criminal intent? That I'm hung up on that. Drug smuggling is what they're gonna call it. No matter what, if you're bringing drugs that are illegal from one state to another, from one country to another, I think it's going to be called drug smuggling, right?
Hmm.
With criminal intent, I'm just not understanding it.
Yeah, that part is a little. It's like, but it goes to the point of look at what you're in a foreign country,
Right,
you're dealing with different laws or
right,
maybe no laws, like
right,
they can kind of go as they please.
right.
That's
And
a
and
tough
and that's the
tough one.
sticky spot, right? She's been playing basketball in Russia for years. She should have known the laws there. She also should have known the political climate. And I'm not making excuses for the sentence. I still think it's a harsh sentence. I still think that there was no criminal intent. I don't believe she's a criminal. I don't believe there's any kind of drug espionage going on with Brittney Griner. So I don't see the criminal intent. But you gotta know if you're going to play in another country, you've got to know the political climate, and you've got to make sure you know the laws in that country.
Hmm. It's interesting. I see Mike Morgan put something in the chat, said
Mm-hmm.
she had to plead guilty so they could do the prisoner swap.
Right.
They're you know, even though that it could, in normal situations, you would think that's kind of far fetched, but is there a possibility that there is some truth to it? Because the person that the Russian government was asking for was a high level criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when they were talking about this swap, was it one of those things where she has to be on the books for doing some type of crime so they can justify the swap
So,
more?
I will say that I do believe that's probably part of the case, right? I mean, how can you swap prisoners if no one's convicted?
Mm, hmm.
So that could be a formality, right? I don't want to say it is a formality because the negotiations still have to go on. So yeah, that may have to have happened, and of course it's going to get out to everyone, and people are going to go crazy, like, oh my God, 9 years, for less than a gram of hashish oil. You know what I mean? But geez, it's still, when you hear it, it's still a lot, because there was another lady 2 years ago, whenever it was, from Israel, who I think she had 9 grams. Okay. She got convicted for 7.5. Not convicted. She got sentenced to 7.5 years. Now, she got pardoned after 10 months, but her conviction, her sentence was 7.5 years. Brittney Griner had much less than that and got 9 years. So, the question is she being used as an example, right? Is it purely because of war times, or was the conviction and the sentence so high, set so high, as a political play by the Russian government to ensure that, the sentence is high enough to bring home the guy that they want, right? Because just like when we're talking about basketball, the salaries have to match when you're making a trade. You know what I
Right.
mean? So if they're like, hey, if we give her, okay, drug smuggling for, its personal use or whatever, and she gets 3 years, well, then the numbers don't match. And the U.S. is going to say, well, she got 3 years. You want us to give you a guy that got such and such a number of years? Or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that could be that, that could be.
There could be some truth to that. That's true.
So maybe there's something there, when it comes to her, finally and eventually, hopefully, we hope being released to the U.S. Biden did say that they're going to continue to try to bring her home. So let's hope that he sticks to his word. I mean, I'm sure that there's going to be public pressure from all over the place to get Brittney Griner home.
I think that's what, to me, that's a little bit of a sticking point, because the pressure is on both sides. Like, one, you got the pressure to bring her home after everything that she's gone through and the political statement they're trying to make by keeping her there, and then now sentencing her to this outrageous sentencing. And then the flip side is there's other people that are saying you can't do a swap and release the merchant of death. Like, there's a lot of people that feel it's very iffy, this whole thing. And the other thing is, some people don't like the whole bending over and catering to a foreign government is not an ally, and
Right.
they don't want us, the U.S. to deal with them on any circumstances. So this is a tough one, man. I cannot. This is crazy. Brittney Griner, WNBA player. Look at all of this that came out of this.
It's crazy. And not only do you have international politics going on, but you're also going to have internal politics for the U.S. Biden's going to look at it and say, if we do not bring her home, how does it impact the polls with my party? And if we do bring her home and we make whatever kind of trade, prisoner swap, how does it impact my polls?
Right. They're better off sending like Sylvester Stallone and somebody escape plans to see if they could break her out, man. This is like, this ain't, I don't know, man.
It's
tough.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. Big Freezy in the building, man. Freezy, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
I'm well. How you guys doing, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Trying to process this whole thing.
As he sips his tea.
As he sips the tea. Hey Sam, I'm lost to this thing because casual observers looking at this like, man, are we really swapping a law-breaking criminal for a law-breaking criminal? Is that what we doing?
Well, I mean, the thing is this, it's not just Brittney Griner, if you're making a swap, it's also this guy, Paul Whelan. Right now, Paul Whelan is a little bit more on par with Victor Bout, who is the merchant of death.
Right.
Okay? You know, when you look at the history of Paul Whelan, you know, he was involved, supposedly, in some international espionage as well.
He is the Born Identity. Right. I got you.
Yeah. He's a Canadian with a U.S., British, and Irish citizenship.
Right.
All right. And he was accused of spying. All right. He was sentenced in 2020, June 15th, 2020, which is my daughter's birthday. June 15th, not 2020, but June 15th is her birthday. But on June 15th, 2020, he received a 16-year prison sentence. Right? And when you read the story, it's kind of crazy. It's a lot going on within the story, about the guy. But, I don't know if he is as dangerous as Victor Bout, the merchant of death. Right? But he, he was into some serious stuff too.
Right. They all are. I think they all are. I mean, except for Griner.
Right. So she's caught up in some. She's caught up in something crazy. You got all of this international espionage going on. He's got. And think about this. What we were just saying, Ron, when you talk about the years matching up, right? This guy received a 16-year prison sentence. Brittney Griner has a 9-year sentence. That's 27 years between the two, right? Victor Bout, I think he has a 25-year sentence.
Oh, man. Really?
He was sentenced to 25 years imprisonment.
Jeez. Right. This is interesting.
So it is interesting because now when you add up the numbers, Russia can say, well, listen, we're giving you, I hate to say it like this, but this is what it seems to break down to be. We're giving you 27 years, 9 and 16 is 25. Yeah, so that matches.
25. Right.
Yeah, not 27,
it matches.
25. It matches perfectly.
Right.
That's crazy.
And there you go.
That's crazy.
So when you break it down, there you go. Right? We gave her a 9-year sentence. Paul Whelan has a 16-year sentence. That's 25. Our guy, Victor Bout, has a 25-year sentence. Boom.
This is, do you hear this? This is bananas.
Bananas. What? That is.
Bro, that's what I'm saying.
That's wild.
This whole thing is sad with Griner, bro. This thing is sad, man.
That's wild. That's really wild.
You see how easy it is to get caught up in stuff like this? Now, all you wanted to do was do your little dope, and now you caught up in international espionage. I mean, what?
International espionage, and when you break it down the way that we just broke it down, as far as the years and now the numbers match and all that kind of stuff, man. I mean, you talk about political pawns, man. You see this kind of stuff in movies.
Yeah.
Right. You read about it in books, but now we're watching it and seeing it in front of our face.
Right.
It's wild stuff.
Would this be as big a story if Brittney Griner wasn't a WNBA player?
If Brittney Griner was not a WNBA player,
Yeah, if she was just a regular.
Listen, we never knew about Paul Whelan until now.
Right.
I'm talking about the general public. You know,
Right,
his
that's what I
family
mean.
did, you know, and maybe
Right, of
some other
course.
people, but we didn't. The general public
Right.
didn't. If Brittney Griner was not a WNBA player, I don't think we would have heard about it.
That makes me think this type of stuff happens all the time.
Yeah.
The international bartering for valuable information from certain. Yeah, man, this is nuts.
And you know, who knows if this was the idea from the beginning, once they found out that they had her in custody for whatever she was doing, because this stuff doesn't happen overnight. You know, it takes time. It's got to go up the channels, and someone
Right.
up somewhere found out, oh wait, you mean you have an American blah 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 who's in custody for doing this? And this had to be thought out, right? But then, you know, I was talking about it a little bit earlier because someone put the question in the chat on the show, and John and I were going back and forth, and John even brought up, like, we know it's political, but is there even more to it?
Right.
I mean, the fact that she is a African American woman, a WNBA player, part of the LGBTQ community, you know what I mean? There's all these different things that she's checking all the boxes. And he made a great point in that, like, all of that is a reason why they could target her and say, this is the piece we're going to use.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, because one, okay, you're right. And they're, so when you look at it, they're using the LGBTQ movement. They're using, you know, her being a woman of color. They're using these movements as a way to gain leverage over the United States. It's no doubt about it.
Right.
You know, whether or not they care that she's black or you know, or care about her sexuality, they understand the movements in the United States.
Right.
And they're targeting those movements to say, you know, these people are going to stand up.
Right.
You know, man, it's tough, and I feel bad for her, but I feel bad for her, you know, because she's caught up in the middle of this, and in some ways, I'm sure she's kicking herself, saying, "I need to know. Like, you got to know this stuff. You got to know the political climate and what's going on." And I'm not saying it's right what Russia is doing, but you got to know what the political climate is, especially if you play basketball in that country. And I think this goes for, you know, all of the athletes. Look at Iman Shumpert.
Oh,
Right? He just, you know, got his thing, you know, got a felony charge for weed possession in Dallas. Got to be smarter than that, man. You know, because you're a target. Look, you're 6'5" walking through an airport. You're black. You're gonna be noticed.
Right.
You're a target. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man.
And why? What the upside? What is the upside? You get to smoke.
You know, there is no upside. You know, you got to be smart.
Something that you can do in the convenience of your beautiful mansion that you have.
Right.
You know.
Right. Now let me ask you. I don't know about Russia, right? But I mean, I'm assuming since she spent so much time there, she maybe knows where she can get it in Russia. I don't know but it's illegal in Russia altogether. So maybe she just can't get it. And maybe that's where the criminal intent comes in. right? Because it's illegal in Russia. And so maybe that's where they say, the criminal, it's a criminal, it's a crime for her to have it. That's their laws. She's got to know that.
You would think if anybody knows the rules, if she spent so much time out there, you would think she would know that, because I was going to bring this up before, but the other thing is, like, is there an off chance that this is new to her? That the usage of the hashish oil is all a new prospect to her. That because she's been going through things, she just recently spoke to a doctor not too long ago, got the prescription for it, maybe before her trip out there, and now she's. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I think I don't know. I can't say. I don't want to say what she is, or if she used it before. What I think most people kind of know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think most people kind of know. Just know.
And I definitely could see her having it in her pants or something like that, and packing in the luggage, not knowing, because it's something for personal use. It's not that big. I mean, you could see it being in your stuff. You're on the go. You're in some type of business where you got to travel. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you might might forget about certain things. So it could happen. Yeah. That's tough.
I think that when I look at it too, she's been playing for the team, and I'm gonna say this is probably not the first time that she's brought it into the country, right? And maybe people even knew, right? But they kept it under wraps because she's Brittney Griner and she plays for the team and so on and so forth. But then when this situation arose, this political climate, someone said, you know what? There's a good chance she has such and such and such. Check her. You know what I mean? Very good chance she has it. Make sure you check her. And then there you go. It goes down. Let's say that the Joe Biden does cut a deal and brings her home. And the merchant of death goes back to Russia, and Brittney Griner comes home and Paul Whelan comes home. What kind of backlash do you think comes from it?
Trump in 2024.
Whew. You think so?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Yes, and the reason why I say that is because these margin of victory, like the margins of victory in each state, were so razor thin. It's the reason why the candidate that lost contested so much, because you're talking about less than 1 million votes in states that have multiple. Yeah. And then plus news cycles hunt for things to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how entities talk about the Knicks. The first small thing they get, they just rake the Knicks over the coal. And so now that you have organizations like Fox News turning on MAGA and things like that, or not turning, but maybe distancing themselves. Maybe distancing themselves is a better way to put it. I think it's to fuel that those that are begrudgingly on the fence. They're begrudgingly neutral. Usually they're on say the right and on the right wing, but they're in the middle just to save reputation. It gives them the fuel they need to go back to the right wing. To you know what I'm saying? So that's my thinking. That's my thinking. But my ultimately I'm asking, when I first heard it, I was thinking like there was no other way for us to attempt to do this but to have her bring it herself. She couldn't have medical staff do it for her since it was prescribed.
I mean, the thing is, the medical staff in Russia is not going to do it because it's illegal in Russia.
Oh,
right? It's illegal.
Yeah,
They're not going to do it. So I don't think there's any other way. Even though it's prescribed, it doesn't matter because it's illegal in Russia. You know, so basically that's like, don't bring it. That's not to say that it's not there. Obviously it is. There's no doubt about it. I just seen somebody in the chat say, if I can find it, that it's there, but it's really, really underground, and the KGB watches everybody like a hawk. You know, to make sure. Here we go. TJ said you can get it there, but it is very underground, but the KBG watches everyone like a hawk.
Makes sense.
You know?
And like, that's the other thing. Well, man. Because the whole thing is, it's really a moot point because apparently she had no intention of bringing this with her. She wasn't supposed to pack it with her. And therefore, you know, she wasn't expecting to go through this backlash or even have to use the argument that I have a prescription for it due to these reasons. Because that prescription, you know, didn't matter. As soon as you throw that prescription out there, you're in a different thing.
Yeah.
They don't care about your prescription.
And really, I think the purpose of the prescription was not really to get her off, I guess. I think her lawyers probably understood that she was going to be convicted of something, but maybe to prove that, hey, there's no criminal intent. This is for her health. You know, it's prescribed. It's for her health. You know, that's the only thing I can think of.
So for leniency, so instead of getting
for leniency
20 years, she gets 9, basically, something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, she got 9. You know, for 9 years she gets. You know what I mean? You know, instead of 9 she gets 3.
Her,
you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. Ron.
No, I was just going to say. So the question I'm wondering is, obviously we touched on, you know, if this does happen and a swap does happen, the backlash that could come from it, the repercussions that could come from it, the presidency would definitely be up in the air. They must be already strategically planning, like, okay, this happens, we're going to have to deal with the blowout from this. What do we got to do to get ourselves back in America's good graces? What national disaster are we going to have to avert? You know, there's got to be some behind the scenes stuff going on.
There's no
because
doubt about
politics is crazy.
It's no doubt about it. You know, they're having that discussion.
Oh yeah.
You know, and big time. You know, how does it impact my polls? How does it impact my ratings? They're having that discussion. You know, and they're gonna look at surveys and all kinds of stuff to determine how it will impact his ratings. They're going to look at that. It's unfortunate. That's the way things are. But to be honest with you, though, at this point, he's in a no-win situation. I don't think he can win either way. If he brings her home and makes a deal, you know, there's going to be people that says, oh, we're doing all of this just for one person. Right. And then they're going to look and say, you know, this is the only reason why they're doing it for her. I can guarantee you this comes out. The only reason why they're doing it for her is because she's a black woman and she's part of the LGBTQ community and they don't want the backlash from it. And then they're going to point to Paul Whelan and say he's been in prison for however many years and they didn't do anything with him until Brittney Griner. Right. So that side is going to say that, and that's what's going to happen. I can almost guarantee it. You know.
So my question is, when we're talking about fallout and blowout and all these things, the backlash, what if the swap does happen? How does it impact Brittney Griner? Can Brittney Griner still be a female basketball player? Would she even want to be? Would she want to play overseas? She wouldn't go back to Russia, I'm sure, but would she even want to go to any other country? Right. How would this impact her livelihood?
Yeah, it's going to be a mixed bag, I think. I think there's going to, you know, here in the country, that's going to be, you know, people that support her and people that don't support her. I think basketball-wise, when she gets on the court the first time, or maybe even the first time she enters into an opposing arena, I think she'll probably get cheers.
Well, I think she might get cheers too from a certain populace in society. But I also think, you know, Josh had brought up an interesting point in the chat before that they did target her and almost kind of pointed a finger at her like, this is good for you for not standing up for the national anthem and pledging the flag, there's definitely going to be that part of the population that is going to
Yeah.
continue to show venom towards her.
And
Um,
I feel like that's just a dumb and stupid argument,
I agree. It's
because
ridiculous.
not standing for the flag had nothing to do with America directly. I'll say directly. Not standing for the flag was not about the flag.
That's the biggest argument, misconception that
Right.
the media that was opposed to the whole not standing for the flag used in their favor to try to they tried to point it towards the flag, like if that was their issue, and it was never about the flag, and that was always stated, but if people didn't bother to listen.
Right.
So that's horrible.
But yeah, she's gonna catch it on. She's gonna catch it. I think. I think it's gonna be a mixed bag. The population that normally, or the demographic that normally attends basketball games, I think is probably a little more liberal. Should I say?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think she'll get the support there. But then outside of that, I can see her getting some backlash, and I can see there being some people that, maybe even don't like her because of it, and then especially with her being a black woman and part of the LGBTQ community, she, I don't know, she may decide, you know what, I'm gonna lay low for a year or two. She may decide to. Now the thing is, I don't know how well she's done with her money, but part of the reason that WNBA players go overseas to play is because they can make more money. A lot of times they play year round, right? Because in the WNBA, I think they make let's say around about $250,000 a year is the highest that they make, right? That's a whole nother discussion, but that's about the highest that they make. So then they go to other countries and make $250,000 over here, make $1 million over here, et cetera, so that they can make the living that they feel they deserve to play basketball. She's made some money. I don't know, how much money she's made or how well she's done with her money. But if she decides, well, obviously she's not going to go to Russia and play again. I don't think she's going to go to Russia and play again. If she does come back, she probably may not even be allowed in the country. Who knows how that's going to go, right? So maybe she will go to another country, but, she'll lose some money. I don't know if those contracts are guaranteed or what, or, I'm pretty sure they have character clauses and stuff like that.
That's another issue. Character clauses. Yeah, I didn't think about that. And you argue a character clause when on the books you've been sentenced, so basically convicted to a certain crime.
Right.
Like even if you say, listen, this was politics, it's on your record.
It's on your record.
Yeah.
It's on your record. Internationally, it's on your record. And I don't know if, I doubt that a prison swap comes with, your record being erased. I doubt that. Internationally, I'm sure it's still going to be there.
If it's a prison swap and a pardon, maybe, but I don't know how that works at all.
Yeah. Is it a release? Is it expunged?
I don't think it's expunged. I don't know. I don't want to put words in my mouth. And Josh said, just because this is so wrong on so many different levels, just because you disagree doesn't mean it's dumb. I feel it's a dumb argument.
Yeah.
I feel it's a dumb argument.
I don't think I've ever seen Josh agree with anyone about anything.
That's cool. I respect his opinion. I didn't call him dumb. I said I felt the argument was dumb.
Yeah.
I didn't say he was dumb. I just said I felt the argument was dumb because I don't believe that taking a knee was about the flag.
Right.
It was a point in time to get attention. And that was
a silent protest.
It was a silent protest. That was a point in time where the world was watching to get the attention. People know why I'm taking this knee during this time. It wasn't about the flag.
Right.
Well, and the other
in my
thing
opinion.
about it, I mean, that's a whole nother subject. But this is all I wanted to say about it is that the person who took the knee, the reason behind it told you it's not about the flag.
Right.
This person is outspoken, chose to take a knee, chose to put his career on the line and said that this is more important than that, and has been going through all types of hurdles, fighting through all of this to make that statement. And they're telling you it's not about the flag. I'm going to believe the person and say it's not about the flag.
Right.
And it never was. It never was.
Right.
And he was told by a veteran not to turn his back on it. You remember the guy? I think the story is the guy told him not to turn your back on the flag. It's more respectful if you just take a knee.
Right.
Or just be respectful, whatever protest you do. And so history forgets about the guy that gave him the advice.
Right. So I mean, and I guess the guy that gave him the advice had ties to the military, right? I don't know exactly what his ties were, but had ties to the military. So to me, I just feel like that whole point is very missed. She's never came out, as far as I know, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll admit to it. As far as I know, I've never heard her come out and say anything against the United States. As far as I know.
Yeah.
She took a knee in protest of police brutality.
Right. Right.
So, that's where I am with that. But
Man, this is a frustrating intellectual entanglement.
Yeah,
because there are so many layers to
right
to all of this, depending on what side you take in this freedom of expression and liberty to travel abroad and the humanitarian efforts. And I'm talking about Russia and Ukraine. And so with all these things going on, it's so layered that any misstep, right? It's like Jenga. You pull one part out that you think is safe and the whole thing can just crumble. So if you're Joe Biden in this situation, you have to be very careful how you approach this, because to be honest with you, this is Uncle Freeze's opinion, right? I'm not swapping war criminals, bro, or the espionage guys. You want your guy back, so what? And the guy that he wants us to bring him back to, hey man, I'm sorry, right? But you can't just trade lives like that. And then plus, how do I know that you didn't get turned or flipped while you were over there? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How do I know that you didn't give out all the American secrets and stuff while you were over there? Then now you're being used as a bargaining chip to come over here, and then now you get more stuff to give to them.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. And let me ask this question. Does a person's expression, because they express how they feel, does that now bar them from being protected by the country? If we're supposed to have freedom of speech, does that bar them from being protected by our country? Even if she did say, I'm not happy with America. I'm not happy with the way my people have been treated, whatever she wanted to say. If she said that, does that bar her from being protected by the country?
No, it does not. It does not. Because at the end of the day, she's still American.
Right.
Right. She is still American. So, and that's one of the reasons why I always salute the military guys. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the veterans and their families that risk their lives so that people can protest peacefully, so that even if they disagree with the government, they can still be supported by that government.
Right. Right. So then I ask, Josh, why does that come into play? Why does the fact that she took a knee come into play? If she was disgruntled with the country, does that mean she's not protected? Is that what you're saying? Because you seem to be on the opposite side of the fence as me. Is that what you're saying? She was disgruntled with the country, so we're not going to protect her. When I thought the entire purpose of a democracy and our troops fighting for us is for us to have the freedom of speech and to have certain freedoms and
liberties
rights and liberties.
and liberties to move about in a manner where you feel safe. Those are the type of things that veterans fight for. I don't know. It must be past Josh's bedtime. Is it past 7:30? Josh, you got your onesie on? You got your pajamas with the feet in it, Josh?
Yeah. Yeah. I respect Josh's opinion, right? But I just, I don't feel him wrong. Obviously, he doesn't feel it's wrong. So, we'll respectfully disagree on that point.
I mean, the other thing is, can you not disagree with something that you feel is wrong that your country does and love everything else that your country does?
Right.
Can you not disagree with something?
Right.
And still feel like you would give your all for your country and do everything that they would ask of you, because there's so many great things that you appreciate about it, but there's this one thing that really is a sticking point for you that you feel you have to speak up about it because you can't. It's like me, or anybody going to a brand new job, okay? And when you get to the job, the people there are great. Your boss is great. The way they do business is great. You love everything. Man, this is the best job I've ever been to.
Mm-hmm.
Then one thing happens and you find out, hey, this job is fantastic. The people are great. The mission statement was fantastic. The boss is great. The pay is well. But then you find out, hey, man, we selling blood diamonds. Like, it could be anything, but the company was great. The 401k, the packages, the way they treat their employees is fantastic. But what are we actually doing? And you don't like that. Does that mean that you still didn't appreciate everything else about the company? No, but it's just that one thing that's a sticking point for you that you just can't tolerate. It doesn't keep you feeling good in your soul that you have to speak up about it. I just think that people are we're in a very blaming society.
Yeah.
Second chances are hard to come by, but there's a lot of pointing the finger. When we feel this way and you feel that way, you are on the outside looking in, and we can't look at you like you're a human being anymore because you don't agree with this. This is how all of us over here agree. And that's a tough way. That's the one thing I could say that I love this country so much because of the freedoms, the liberties, and you're able, like, people, if you have a plan, mission, you can be successful.
Right.
But it's the other things that happen that comes with all of that. This our society and our world is it's pretty screwed up, man. And so you got to look at it for everything it is. So we just got to, the whole point is, if we could all treat each other the way we all deserve to be treated, we'd have no issues, but that never happens. So there's obviously stuff that there to talk about that people have a right to express their opinion about, and she's one of them. She felt like she needed to take the knee, and not only was she speaking up for the brutality that was happening, she's also supporting a fellow athlete who chose to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a movement, but
Right.
I don't know. It's tough.
And didn't she play in the Olympics for the country?
I think so.
That I don't recall,
I
probably
think she did. I believe so. I think she was an Olympian for a few. I think she played at least twice.
What I struggle with is the root cause, right? Like, what is the root cause of this issue? Right? Like, why is she in Russia? Period.
Well, why?
What? Yeah. No, I mean, I understand. No, I understand why she's over there. What I'm saying is why? I mean, because I understand traveling abroad to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that part, right? What my struggle is why does she have to travel abroad to make a living in a country where I'm struggling with all the things that go into like the build up to her getting sentenced in Russia.
Well, I mean, it's because the WNBA players don't get as paid as much as some women players overseas.
Right.
And in order to make up that money, they go to other countries and play.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and so that's why she's playing in Russia.
Right.
You know,
So my issue is why is that so? Now that I think about all these different things that led to, you know what I'm talking about, like the raindrop that leads to a tsunami on the other side of the
nah, I hear
world.
you.
Like,
I hear you. I
right,
hear you.
you know, it makes me. I'm already I'm frustrated with this thing that as soon as your daughter is born, that even if she's as good as the boys at doing stuff, she's going to get paid less money.
Yeah,
Period.
I get it. I get it. The only argument that I have about it with the WNBA is that it's, that's all based on the amount of money that the WNBA brings in, right? If, they can't pay a player, $40 million a year if your league doesn't even make $40 million a year. And I don't know what the league makes, but you get what I'm saying.
Understand.
So, the salaries have to be proportionate to how much the league makes. So I think, and I'm not sure if they rectified it or not, but I think what you've got to do is not look at how much the men make versus how much the women make, but look at the percentage of money they make versus the percentage of money that the men make, right? So if the NBA brings in $2 million a year and the minimum salary for a male player is 1% of that, 10% of that, whatever, let's just say, I don't know, 10% of that, so that's $200,000, then if the WNBA brings in $500,000 a year, then the ladies' percentage should also be 10% of that, or whatever it comes out to be, instead of 2% or 3% or 5%. So I think you got to look at the percentages because the leagues make different money.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah. So I understand the model. I understand the business model, right? I understand they don't generate as much money.
Right.
Period. That's just what it is.
Right.
It's the same thing as the New Orleans Pelicans and New York Knicks.
Right.
Right. It's a business model. They may run the same type of business model. The Knicks just get more flow through revenue stream than the Pelicans do, because the New Orleans just doesn't generate the same amount of stream as the Knicks do. Right. So when I look at it, like when I look at that, it makes me. So we have to send our women halfway around the world just to make money, and then go through all these trappings, right? When the guys do 10 times less and make 20 times more money.
Yeah, I mean, it all has to do with the economics of it, though. Because
it's that ecosystem,
right?
Yeah.
Because also, there are men who play professional basketball and do the same thing that women players do and make much less than these women players. You got guys in the G League who, play in the G League for $50,000 or whatever the salary is, $75,000. I'm not sure exactly what it is, and then go to China, go to Europe, come back and play in the G League, who do the same thing.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a whole nother discussion. I still, break down to the percentages, and how do you? I guess the question there is, how do you make the WNBA bring in more money? How can that happen? You know what I'm saying?
I always had an idea about that, but I understand what the topic is. Which it just puzzles me that a WNBA star, because she is still at the top of her game, even though she's older, she's still at the top of her game for that league, and she faces this.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough, and I don't know. I just hope that this is a message to athletes. And I said this earlier, athletes, to pay attention to what you're doing and where you're going. Understand the climate. Like I said, we seen Amon Shumpert, get caught up in Dallas. Listen, totally his fault. He decided, his fault, all his fault. No doubt about it. And he had ammunition. And he was carrying ammunition through the airport. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else just a couple of weeks ago, the same thing happened to them. I forgot who it was, but another athlete. These guys need to, look, I get it. You buy some weed, and when you make this much money, you may buy a lot of weed because you got a lot of people around you, and you may not use it all. And so you're on your way to another state to do whatever. You got to be smart. You find another way to get it there. Give it to your homeboy. You got money.
I was going to say, what happened to your mule? What happened to your mule? What, mules have rights now?
I mean, give it to your homeboy to drive to that state. I don't know.
Yeah,
or
right.
just leave it there and say, yo, this is for you.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can get some more wherever you're going. And if you don't got connections, and if you know you're going to be traveling around to 30 different states, find a connection in each state. Somebody can help you find a connection in each state. So that way you don't have to travel with it. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to travel. When you get there, call your connect. Hey, I need blah, 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 and get it done that way. You know what I'm saying? Because you're putting your career on the line. You're muted, Ron.
No. I wasn't going to say anything. I was just shaking my head. But I will say something now that I just think and part of me wonders too.
1 second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Angry Renaissance man said, and he was going to Cali.
Oh, that's even worse.
That's even worse.
He
was going to Cali. Come on.
You don't bring sand to the beach.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Like I don't get it. And part of me wonders that, because if I'm not mistaken, and I don't follow her as closely. Oh, no, I never really followed her closely, but from what I know, I believe his wife has kind of decided it's like sort of a retirement for her. I don't think she's going to be doing music the way she was doing it before.
Right.
If that's true, then I'm wondering if she still had a full-fledged career and she was going out there touring and doing all this and recording, would he even put himself in that position? Because now you're affecting her brand.
Yeah.
But if things are different and she's taking a pause, maybe, I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know why you would move that way anyway, just for you personally.
Yeah. I mean,
but
listen, I agree with D Public Enemy. I think maybe Shump got in too deep. Maybe he's in too deep. He said NBA and NFL players are reckless with these gun and weed charges. Shumpert is so used to smoking weed, he feels comfortable with his acting role on The Chi. Yes, if you watch The Chi recently, he's a weed dealer on The Chi. You know what I'm saying? And, he plays a good role. I'm not going to lie. He plays a good role. He's doing a good job. Right? But maybe he's in too deep. You seen Omar Epps, right? You seen the movie Omar Epps and LL Cool J in too deep. Maybe he's in too deep. And he's like, yo, this is me for real. I don't know. Well, maybe it just is him. But
I didn't think about that. That's interesting.
You never know. You hear about that sometimes with actors, right? Like they get so deep into their role. It would be crazy if he came. I don't think he will, but it would be wild business if he came out with that excuse.
But that's definitely something you could use. I guess no one believe you. But the other thing is, there is such a thing as being addicted to something, and maybe he's addicted to weed. So maybe he had to take it with him. I needs my stuff.
Yeah, I don't think weed ain't addictive like that.
Listen. Some people listen. There's some people that get addicted to it, and if he's with that good, it could be real for him.
But even still, wherever you're going, you're not gonna smoke it on the plane. You're not smoking it on the plane. Wherever you're going, you can boom. Meet me at such and such as soon as I step off the plane.
I don't know what that's about.
Get what give me what I need. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. But I'm wishing for the best for Brittney Griner, though. I mean, she made the same mistake as Shump, but not the same. You know what I mean? You know,
The same type of mistake, but
same
not
type of
wasn't
mistake, but not. It's not equal. And what's crazy is the maximum sentence that Shump can get, I think, is 2 years. Right, so he's caught with weed and ammunition
And bullets.
and ammunition, right? And his maximum sentence is 2 years, and I think $10K in fines. The max
He
sentence.
gonna pay that. He gonna pay that $10K and laugh this off. And Brittney Griner did less in his war criminals. I mean, not war criminals. Sorry, espionage guys.
It's wild business, man.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
I was telling Sim earlier. He said he may check it out, but Freezy, you remember that movie Broke Down Palace?
No, sir.
With Claire Danes? No,
sir.
Okay. Well, the quick synopsis is Claire Danes and her best friend go to another country. I think they go to Thailand, whatever. They meet a nice gentleman on the plane, gets to the airport over there, slips a little something in one of their bags. They get busted with it. The gentleman goes off, does his thing. Now they stuck in a foreign country, can't get out.
I need to watch this movie, man. I'm gonna try
I
to watch
remember
it tonight.
that.
I didn't watch.
I remember the trailer.
I need to watch it.
Yeah, I remember the trailer for that. I remember that.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna ask. Well, we're gonna ask me another question. I'm sorry, Ron.
Oh no, that was it. I was wondering if you knew the movie.
Yeah, I know of it. I just hadn't seen it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's I can't. I don't want to mess it up. So because there's a chance that Sim will watch it. Maybe you'll even watch it one day. Who knows? But the movie is crazy.
I'm gonna watch it.
You know, that's the premise, but everything that happens in the movie, it turns.
Yeah.
So.
My man, Kevin Bergen said, I really don't know what solution makes sense with the Griner situation. Yeah, you know what? I don't either, man. It's definitely a tough one. You know, it's definitely a sticky situation. Uncle Fulio, man, what's popping?
Salute, guys. How's it going? How's everything?
I mean,
good stuff as always.
Good, man. I'm good.
Good, man. We good, bro.
Yeah. So, sorry I'm late. I know I was trying to make this show a little bit earlier, but I had some things I had to tend to. But first thing I want to say is I want to see Brittney Griner come home. That's what I want to see. As an American, I want to see Brittney Griner come home because she's one of us. She is an American, and I know that it's different when you go to other countries. And as an American, this would not be tolerated in America. Let me just put that out there. I want to see Brittney Griner come home, first and foremost. But just because you disagree with something doesn't mean it's dumb. And that's the thing that I want to address, because Sim said that he thinks it's dumb.
I said the argument. I said I believe the argument is dumb.
Yeah, and I'm saying that because you feel that way, that doesn't make it dumb.
I didn't say it makes it. I said I feel it.
Yeah, and I'm saying that
opinion.
and I just don't agree because you disagree with something that it's dumb.
Okay.
There's people in this country who legitimately feel, and I'm not saying I agree with that opinion, but there's people in this country that legitimately feel that if you don't stand for the anthem, right, you're going against a lot of things that America stands for. I understand what the purpose of not standing for the anthem is, but when you don't stand for the anthem, there's a lot of things that come with that people take from that. And essentially, when you go to a different country and a country is, by American standards, not treating you fairly, that's what comes with that. Because essentially, you stand for the anthem because America and the flag stands for freedom. Freedom of
understood.
Correct. And that's what that comes from.
But
so,
I also
hold on. Can I finish my point? Brittney Griner goes to another country like Russia. Brittney Griner goes to another country like Russia, who doesn't have the same laws and the same standards as Americans do, right? And she gets caught up on some charges that are bogus, that we all can agree that are bogus. Yet in America, where she has those freedoms, she sits for the anthem or doesn't stand for the anthem. That sends a message to people who feel a certain type of way about the anthem and what the flag stands for, right? That you may not agree with. You may not think that, okay, yeah, Brittney Griner is not standing for the anthem for this reason or for that reason, but to some people in the country, that's what it means to them. Freedom. And now It's crazy. She gets caught up in a country that doesn't have those same freedoms, and now we want to feel some type of way about it. So my argument, the whole argument that I'm trying to present is that just because you don't agree with the reason why people feel a certain type of way doesn't mean it's a dumb opinion. It's not dumb. It's just the reality of the situation.
Well, I'm
she
just
went to
saying,
a country that doesn't have the same freedoms as we do,
I
and she
get
sat
that.
for the anthem
Okay.
in America.
All right.
So that's the reason why that exists.
Okay. You can bring your voice down. All right. And the reason why I say that is because a person, just because someone expressed their feelings, even if it's about their country, which it was not, but even if it's about their country, does not mean that they're not afforded the protection of the country.
Right.
So to me, the argument has no bearing on this, because no matter what, she is afforded those protections. I don't care. She's afforded those protections. So
What
the argument, the protection of the country, in whatever form it comes, in whatever form that protection comes, maybe it doesn't necessarily come in them bringing her home, but in whatever form of protection the country affords its citizens, your right to speak your voice, your freedom of speech, does not negate the right, or does not negate the country protecting you.
Right.
Protect her from what, though?
Uncle Fulio,
Josh,
don't do that, bro.
Overall,
no.
You know what I'm
saying.
saying. You know what I'm saying. I'm explaining. Listen.
Okay, go ahead.
From anything that the country protects you from. One of the reasons our military, as you said, battles for democracy is so that we can have our freedom of speech.
Right.
And when we use our freedom of speech, it does not strip away our protection from the country.
Yep.
Okay, does America's protection protect people from breaking laws in other countries?
No.
This is not about that.
No, but
this is
that,
not about that.
She
It
broke
is.
the law in another country.
Hold up. This is not about that. This is not. No one said she didn't break the country with another law. But basically, what you're saying is people will argue that because she took a knee, the country should not protect her or should not go and try to get her.
No,
then
that's not what I'm saying.
Then what's the purpose of the argument?
My argument is there's people that feel that she didn't understand or fully understand, and a lot of people do not understand the protections that they have in America.
They do.
When they take it. No, they don't,
do.
Sim. Hold on, let me finish. They do not. Because a lot of times people will complain and argue and say that America doesn't have this and America doesn't have that, but they don't understand what America does have that other countries don't. Because a lot of people don't get a chance to go overseas and see these things that a lot of people get a chance to see. They don't see that. Only thing they see is that America's wrong with this, America's wrong with that. And what I'm saying is, when Brittney Griner took a knee for the anthem, there's some people that feel that when she took a knee for the no, and that's what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying.
You can't say it's dumb.
I understand what you're saying about how they feel. I feel it's a dumb argument. You can laugh at it and you can have your opinion. That's cool. I'm telling you my opinion.
Right.
So I can sit here and say you laughing at my opinion is you saying that my opinion is dumb.
I never said that.
Right. The way that you're laughing, insinuates.
That's how he feels. Because Uncle, let me just interject just real quick. So Uncle Fulio, don't do that, bro. We both veterans. You know this whole thing is about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Absolutely. Right. You remember that term, right?
America guarantees us that, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So
okay.
all right.
Gotcha.
So let's establish that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so as veterans, military persons, and public servants in general, their job is to protect people's rights, regardless if the people that they're protecting agree with them or not.
In America,
right? In America. But listen,
okay,
let me finish.
Right.
Let me finish.
Okay, I got you.
And so Brittney Griner taking a knee is not her bucking the fact, not the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness part. Brittney Griner taking a knee is that those defending life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness went across the line to abuse people in this country, abuse their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is why she protested, right?
I'm not Freezy. I'm not
And listen,
doing that. I'm with all of that. I'm with all of that.
Okay,
I'm just
but Josh,
saying that
but
there's
Josh,
a group of people that don't feel the same way. That's what I'm saying. And
but Josh,
there's the argument
you gotta let me finish, bro. Just let me finish. Because I want to say this just real quick. I promise you I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna get out of the way, right? For instance, okay, so I'm a veteran and I've been through a lot of stuff, man, still affect me to this day, right? And when I see people do protests and certain things, it kind of frustrates me because of that thing you said. Like when you go other places and talk to people from other countries, they see what we have. They see what we have, and they're not jealous, but understand that we kind of have it better than a lot of other countries, right? You know what? I'll just leave it right there, bro. I'm good.
Yeah.
But the only thing I was gonna say is even if she had stood for the flag and not taken a knee, there would still be the tough question that the United States has to ask themselves if they want to do this whole possibility of a swap, regardless whether she could be the most patriotic American ever. You still got to think to yourself, how I know that's not your point. I get it, but that still is the question that matters the most. You still have to ask yourself, how do you go about doing this and figuring out a way to get her home? No matter who she is. But I know what you're saying, Josh.
Okay. I got to dip, man. I got to dip and do something real quick. If y'all still on, I'm gonna come right back.
Appreciate you.
Okay, so let me give my experience for a second. So I've been obviously stationed in different places around the country. I've been around the world, right? When it comes to prisoners abroad, there's something called a SOFA, which is a status of forces agreement, right? America has this agreement with certain countries, meaning if certain people that are in uniform or not out of uniform that are part of a military community in America get arrested overseas, there's an agreement to where that person can come home safely, or there is no type of barter system or trade. There's an agreement to where that person can be released safely to their home country. That's called a SOFA, status of forces agreement. Okay. With Russia, we obviously do not have that. Okay. I'm not saying Brittney Griner was completely wrong. And she, like what Trump said, like the hyperbole that Trump put out there. That's not what I'm coming from at all. I feel like Brittney Griner should come home because in America, by American standards, Brittney Griner didn't do anything that required her to be in jail for 9 years. I'm not saying that that's all correct and all of that. What I'm saying is there's a lot of people in this country who defend the flag and defend everything about the flag and about this country and the message that kneeling for the flag or standing up for the flag defends, which is freedom, the ability to do freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of search and seizures from the government that Russia does not protect you from. So when you kneel for the flag, no matter what your intentions are, when you kneel for the flag, there's people out there that feel like you're not kneeling just for whatever message you're trying to send. However, you're kneeling that you don't appreciate the freedoms that you do have. And a lot of times, African Americans or the LGBT community or a lot of underprivileged minority communities tend to do that enough, and they don't appreciate what they have in this country while it's here. So there's a lot of people who feel like Brittney Griner deserves what she got in Russia, whether right or wrong. I'm not saying it's right or wrong what she got, because she kneeled for the flag in America that gave her those freedoms. Because if she was in America, she wouldn't have got charged with criminal intent. She wouldn't have got charged with 9 years in prison because America gives her those protections.
I get it. And part of her freedom in America is also to express herself.
Correct.
That's part of her. I know what you're saying. I'm listening to
me because you're thinking
Josh,
I'm taking away her freedom.
Josh, relax. I'm not saying you're taking away anything. I understand. You're saying that there's a group of people that feel this way. I get what you're saying. I understand fully. I fully comprehend what you're saying. You also said that those people, some of those people, not all of them, feel that she got what she deserves and America should not do anything for her because she knelt. And what I'm saying is the fact that she knelt does not take away any protections because she expressed her voice, does not take away any protections that the country gives her.
What protections are there, though, son? That's what I'm asking you. That's what I'm asking you. That's the question. I'm asking
Any
you.
protections?
What protection?
Does the
what
government?
protections are there?
Does the government protect us? If someone comes over here to kill us, does the government protect us?
Us here in this country. I'm talking about someone overseas. Okay,
I understand. Okay, no. You're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm not talking about this specific her being there. Overall, in general, does it take away the protections that the country gives a person for using their freedom of speech?
No, Sam.
No.
That's
Okay. Well, let me finish.
That's not what you just said, though. Okay, go ahead.
Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Does using your freedom of speech mean the country, even if it's against the country, takes away any protections that the country gives you?
No.
No, it does not.
Correct.
So in this manner, the country may be looking to protect one of its citizens. In this instance, it may not always look to protect a citizen that's in prison overseas, but in this instance, the country is looking to protect a citizen. So what I hear is that there are people that feel because she knelt, the country should not look to protect her. While someone else who maybe did not kneel, they should. They didn't kneel. Well, protect them. Yeah, go get them. Go get that person. But she knelt. Don't get her. That's what I'm taking from it. And I'm not saying that you believe that. I'm saying that I disagree with that.
Sim, I'm not defending those people. That's not what I'm saying at all. But defending someone in this country is different than defending someone in another country who broke the law. Those are two totally
not my
different
argument.
things.
That wasn't my argument.
I know what you're arguing. That's my argument.
So why are you bringing that up? I
think that matters
not my
in
argument.
The context of the conversation. But I think that matters in the context of the conversation. It matters, Sam.
But they're doing it anyway. They're doing it anyway. They're already doing it. We're not arguing whether or not the country should say, well, it's an American citizen. You broke the law, but we're not going to let that happen. We're not arguing that. They're doing it anyway. If we like it or not, this is what the country has said they're trying to do. So to me, the fact that she knelt means nothing in this situation. Because her protections are not taken away. Because the country already said this is what they are going to do. That's why I'm like, what? That argument doesn't apply to me.
It absolutely does apply, Sam. Just hear me out for a second. When you go to another country, okay, let me go to the beginning. When you're in this country and you protest the freedoms that this country has by perception.
She didn't protest the freedoms.
Okay, but by perception. And you go to a different country and you break the law, and then you expect the same protections that you have in this country to protect you in a different country. That's an issue. That's an issue.
There's a small group of people compared to no. That's not funny. Compared to the United States, most people understand that this was not against the country. It was not against the flag.
That's not true.
It was a moment in time.
That is not true.
It was a moment in time when you had the country's attention. And that's why the kneeling took place. Because it was a moment where a good portion of the country was watching to bring light to a situation. And that situation was police brutality.
100%. Listen, I agree with you on that. But you can't say majority of the country because half the country voted
you're
for
right.
a man.
You're
Exactly.
right.
That's what I'm talking
You're
about.
right.
So it's
You're
not
right.
majority of the
You're
country.
right.
Half the country did not feel the same way you
You're
feel
right.
right now, like me and you.
You're right.
Half the country
Right.
did not feel that way.
I would
That's
say
where I'm
that
coming
I
from.
would say that some of those people were okay just because they supported Trump and voted for Trump doesn't necessarily mean that they weren't okay with someone kneeling.
And a bunch of people that voted for Biden was not okay.
I agree with that too.
Kneeling either.
I agree with that.
Argument. You can't say that majority.
Okay, you're right. I can't say majority, but a good portion of people knew.
Of course, a good portion of people didn't agree either.
They knew.
A good portion of people didn't agree either.
And they understood, and some people clearly understood what it was about, but just didn't like the fact that it was being knelt during the national anthem. But also in this also in here, you know, because I seen people before Colin who knelt during the national anthem out of respect.
Of course.
Yeah. Right. So the actual act of kneeling, no, because this gets to the meaning of why the kneeling took place. It gets to the meaning. So the actual act doesn't mean shit. The act of getting on your knee.
A lot of people it
hold
does.
On, no,
to
wait a minute.
People it does. No,
hold up.
Ahead,
No, you got to let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
You just said.
I got you.
Well, I just said, I've seen somebody kneel out of respect. Mm-hmm. And you was just like, yeah, but they did it out of respect. That's okay. The actual, did you? You just implied it.
I didn't finish. You kept going.
You just implied it, Josh.
Go ahead.
So the actual act of kneeling is not what the issue is. Because if I knelt and I said I'm kneeling out of respect for a fallen soldier, and I'm doing it during the national anthem, okay, we get it. So the actual act of kneeling is not the problem. The meaning behind the kneeling, the meaning behind it is what you have to look at. It's not just the kneeling. It's the meaning behind it. Because I've seen people kneel before everything with Colin. I've seen people kneel and nobody bat an eye. Because it was done out of respect or considered to be done out of respect.
Okay.
But once he knelt and said, "This is why I'm kneeling," those who didn't disagree, who disagreed, said, "Oh no, you're disrespecting the country."
Okay. Can I respond to you now? So here's the thing. Listen, me and you don't have to go back and forth on why it took place because I think we agree on that. We both understand why the kneeling took place in the protest. I'm not arguing with you about why the kneeling took place. Me and you agree on that. As Black men, we understand why the kneeling took place. What I'm trying to get across to you is that not everybody was in lockstep that the kneeling took place. And it wasn't majority like you said.
You don't have to get that across to me.
Okay,
I get that.
Okay, but let me finish now. What I'm trying to say is a lot of people didn't agree with that, the kneeling part of it. Some people felt like it was disrespect to veterans. Some people felt like it was disrespect to the flag. Some people felt like it was disrespect to America in general, right? Just because you agree with one side doesn't make it the majority, right? And that's the way you came across. No, that's the way you came across.
Josh, did I not back off of that?
Okay.
Did I back off? You keep bringing that up. Did I back off of that? Yes. So move on to what you're trying to say. It's not just I said, okay, maybe not the majority.
Okay.
Move on from that.
Okay, Sam. Okay, hold on. What I'm trying to say is there's a bunch of people who don't feel the same way you do about the situation.
I understand that. I'm trying to figure out what you're saying because you keep saying that over and over. I know that.
What I'm trying to say is that because of the political rhetoric on both sides of the coin, the Republican side and the Democratic side, the Republican side is like, okay, if you don't stand for the flag, that you don't care about the troops, you don't care about this, you don't care about that. That rhetoric matters in this situation. On the Democratic side, it's like, okay, you're not standing for this reason or you're not standing for that reason. Both sides of the coin matter. Both sides of the coin matter. in particular situations. You may feel like the majority feels like a certain type of way, and there's other people that feel like the majority feels another type of way. I'm not arguing for either. What I'm telling you is that because you don't stand for the flag, that issue is more even than you're making it seem. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so you just said the same thing 3 times about the majority. I understand that. I get it 100%. I understand that. I know that.
So how is it dumb?
I know that.
So how is it dumb?
About
you are a stickler for that dumb argument. You won't
the
let
dumb
that go.
argument. The dumb argument. No.
All of a sudden, everything you disagree with is dumb. So what's dumb?
I didn't say everything I disagree with. I said that argument in this particular situation, and I broke that down and explained it to you about 5 times already on why I think it's dumb. Because I don't think it applies here, because the government already said that they are going to try to protect Brittney Griner. They've already said it. Regardless how you feel about it, they've already said it. So her action does not take away her protection. That's why. That's why.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Now, I'm going to ask you a question now. If someone goes to another country and commits murder, do they deserve protection under the American flag or under America?
I didn't say she deserves anything.
It's a question.
Wait a minute.
I'm asking a question.
It depends on what America wants to do.
Okay, so now it depends on what America wants to do. Where do you stand, Sam? Tell me.
I just told you what I said. I just told you. They decided. They decided that. I didn't say that they had to.
I never said you did say you had.
But you're asking.
I'm asking, how do you feel about that situation? If someone goes across in a different country and commits murder, do they deserve respect under the American Constitution or under America? That's the question.
But that example,
it's a simple question.
Yeah,
yes
but that example is about willingly and knowingly breaking the law. And we haven't, no one's ascertained if she willingly or knowingly broke the law.
Okay,
she broke the law. We know that.
Okay.
But Josh, this is what you don't get. It's not about the extremity of the crime. It's not about the extremity of the crime. Mm-hmm. It's about that the government made a decision to do something. That's what it's about. They made a decision. Regardless of what she did, they made a decision. It's not about whether or not I agree with that decision, which I do, and I want her to come home. But
so why bring it up then?
It's still because you just brought it up. What are you talking about? It's not about.
But you said you said it doesn't matter, but then you said I agree with it. So just say you agree with it.
I agree with the decision. But what I'm saying is, it's not about whether I agree with it. It's about what the government decides to do. They decided that they're going to protect her. So whether or not she knelt has no bearing on their decision or if they should do it. They made the decision. So if they already made that decision, the fact that she knelt has no bearing on it. That's what I'm saying.
I asked that question not because she knelt. That's not the reason why I asked the question. The kneeling, the kneeling, which is a separate thing. I didn't ask you that question because she knelt or whether she didn't kneel or whatever the case may be. That's not why I asked that question. You said that American, or you made it seem like Americans that commit crimes in other countries deserve.
No, I didn't.
You made it seem that way. Okay.
No, I didn't. Okay. I said.
So people who commit murder in other countries.
I said no, because you're not following along in the train of thought. Although I broke it down, I said the country provides Americans with protection. I didn't explain what that protection is.
I'm asking what that protection is.
Listen.
That's what I'm asking. Okay, go ahead.
I didn't explain what it is. I said, in general, they provide protection. If they make a decision that this person is in this country, we feel that she's being falsely condemned, detained, we're going to protect her. They made that decision. I didn't say that part of their duty as protecting citizens is to go get them from other countries. I never said that.
So what you're saying
is
it's subjective. It's subjective based on what
I never said
is.
what I'm saying. I'm saying is when they make a decision to protect somebody, their freedom of speech, things that they said in America because they exercise their right.
Yeah. Okay.
then it has no bearing on. They made a decision to protect her. What she said has no bearing on it. I didn't say anything about the government protects people from breaking crimes in other countries.
This is why I'm asking the question. This is why I'm asking you the question, Sam. I'm asking you the question. Okay? Forget about the kneeling for a second. I brought up the kneeling because I think there's a certain group of people, there's a demographic in this country that feels that what she got basically came to her because she basically disrespected the freedoms that she had in America. I was off of that. What I was trying to ask you was, do you feel like if someone commits any crime in any other country that they deserve protection in America from that country, even though they committed a crime in the other country? That's what I'm asking you. It's a yes or no question.
Do they have a
yes
right?
No?
Do they have a right to it? No.
Okay. All right.
They're under the law of that country.
Okay.
You're in that country. You're under the law of that country.
All right. So let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start there. Okay. So Brittney Griner committed a crime in another country. Personally, I feel like the crime is BS. As an American, I feel like she should come home. I don't feel like she should be jailed for that. I feel like America should do everything they can to bring her home. That's not why me and you are going back and forth in this type of argument. What I'm saying is, what grounds gives America the right to protect her at all costs in her current predicament right now?
There are no grounds.
Okay.
They made a decision.
Gotcha.
That's what they're going to do.
Gotcha. That's all I was saying. Thank you. That's it.
So what's your point? But what is the point?
My point is, America, she doesn't deserve anything from America.
I never said she did.
All
over
right,
there.
I never said you did. That was my argument, though. That was the reason why I said what I said. You said it was a dumb argument, so that's the reason why I said what I said. You said it was a dumb argument. So there you go.
I said take it. I said. I said bringing up taking a knee is a dumb argument in this situation. That's what I said. I didn't say anything about the country protecting her or anything like that, not protecting her, having a decision to protect her. I didn't say anything about that being a dumb argument. I said her taking a knee, bringing up the fact that she took a knee is a dumb argument in this situation. That's what I said. It had nothing to do with whether or not the government should or could or has the grounds to make a decision to protect her.
So there is no reason why the government should protect her. So every argument you make for her coming home is a dumb argument then, because it doesn't make any sense. America's not going to defend her. They have no rights.
I never made an argument about.
Okay, but Sam, you said that her taking a knee was a dumb argument. So anything she could have done in America is a dumb argument.
You are
doesn't matter.
Who brought up anything else she did?
But this is the point. You said that. Hold on, Sam.
What does anything else that she's done have to do with that?
Okay, nothing. That's what I'm saying. You said it was a dumb argument for her taking a knee. So, and based on what you just said, anything she could have done in America is a dumb argument because it doesn't matter. Anything she could have done in America, she could have took a knee, she could have stood tall, she could have saluted. It doesn't matter. It's a dumb argument because it doesn't matter.
If you're applying it to this, yes. If you say, if you say she stole a candy bar when she was 10 years old, don't go get her. That's a dumbass argument.
Okay, so anything you say is a dumb argument. She could have stood for the flag or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You're not really making any sense right now, bro.
How I'm not making any sense? You said that it was a dumb argument for bringing up the fact that she kneeled for the anthem. So anything she could have done is a dumb argument because it doesn't matter.
No. You got to understand. Anything that you bring up and apply it to this situation that has nothing to do with this situation is a dumb argument. That's what I'm saying. Right? I mean, you're going to bring up something that she did and then apply it to this situation. Hey, she broke that lamp when you was 5 years old.
Okay. Let's make it relevant to the conversation. She plays in the WNBA. Is that a dumb argument?
What's the argument?
What's the argument?
No, but that's the thing. If you feel like nothing she could have done in the other country, commit whatever crime in the other country, protects her from America, anything she could have done in America is a dumb argument. It doesn't mean anything. It has no bearing to it.
You said she plays in the WNBA. What's the argument?
But I'm asking that question because he said that it was a dumb argument to bring up the fact that she kneeled for the anthem. Okay, it's dumb. But he also said that it doesn't matter what she did in America because she broke the law in the other country. So it doesn't really matter. So anything you bring up in regards to Brittney Griner in America doesn't matter. And it's a dumb argument.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Oh, now you don't know.
It doesn't make sense what you're saying. Because you just said, okay, so if I say she plays in the WNBA and I asked you, what's your argument? She plays in the WNBA. So what's your argument about it?
My argument is nothing that she did in America matters. Just like you said, nothing
No,
that
but
she did in America matters.
but that's not
the
true,
conversation.
Josh. Part of
Okay.
part of
Tell
the
me how.
issue here.
Yeah.
Part of the issue here is if she did something, if she committed a crime in America, if she did something that she needed to answer to that she broke the law of some sort. But you're bringing up something she did in a stance and it's perceived by others differently. But that's a perception thing. It's not fact. It's not fact. Like you don't know her intentions were what you believe them to be. Like people feel
Neither
like
do you.
No, I
Neither
know, but
do
I'm
you.
saying, but you can't. But therefore, you can't hold that against somebody when you don't know what their intentions were.
I'm not holding anything against Brittney Griner. I
Not
personally
you,
feel like
not you. The argument you're making about how people are certain people are perceiving.
right. No. The argument I'm making is Sim called the argument dumb.
But
hold on, Ron, hold on. He called the argument dumb. That people said that because people feel like she kneeled for the flag or whatever, that it's a dumb argument, right? I'm using that compared to the fact that he said because she's detained in another country and there's nothing America can do, nothing she did in America matters in a situation. How is that different than anything she did in America? That has no bearing on the conversation. So how can you call it dumb?
To be honest with you, what has she done that you would say? What has she done in America that you would say has bearing on this case?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing. All right. So how can you call it dumb?
That's why it is dumb. That's why it is a dumb argument because it has no bearing. That's why it's a dumb argument because it has no bearing.
Okay, so her playing in the WNBA is dumb. It doesn't have any relevance.
Wait, so are you mad that he called it a dumb argument, or are you mad that he dismissed the fact that you put the argument out there and he's downplaying?
What I'm trying to say, the dumb argument comment, the fact that it's dumb because everyone deserves equal protection because they have the First Amendment. That's what I'm going against. That's the part that I'm going against because there's other people that feel like she used her First Amendment and they don't agree with that. So if all of it is dumb, none of this stuff matters. Yeah. None of it matters. So why call it dumb? Because you don't agree with it? That's where I'm coming from. That's the part where I'm coming from. Why even bring it up then?
It's his American right to call the argument dumb. There you go. Yeah, I mean, you're proving my point though.
I don't know how I'm proving your point. You call something dumb that has no relevance in the conversation.
You're proving
it has no relevance in the conversation. So why call it dumb?
You're proving my point. When you say so, nothing she's done in America has any relevance to this case. You're proving my point. She's over there. So unless she did something that was so egregious that they said, we're going to be hands off.
How does she deserve protection under American law right now? That's what I want to know. Because you said she doesn't.
Back to this. I'm not going to break it down again. Go rewind it and listen to what I said. I'm not going to break it down again.
She deserves protection under American law, even though she broke the law in another country. She deserves protection under American law.
Do you understand what I was saying?
I got it. I mean, I listen. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, Josh. I don't know.
How does she deserve protection under American law by breaking the law in another country?
I'm not going to. I just broke it down to you 3 times. This is the last time. I didn't. You're putting words in my mouth. This is the last time that I'm going to break it down, and then I'm done with this. Right? America protects its citizens in whatever form that is. They protect their citizens.
What form is that? You can't even name the form. How do they protect their citizens? What form?
They protect their citizens in whatever form that is. And you know it's true.
You don't even know.
You're laughing because you don't know where to go with it. But anyway, America protects its citizens in whichever form that they choose to protect their citizens. And whatever that looks like, they protect their citizens. It could be from people coming to our country and battling. It could be that they decide that I'm going to bring this person home. I didn't say she deserves anything because she committed a crime in another country.
You said whatever.
I
You
said
whatever.
no.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I just explained to you what protection means, and you heard it loud and clear.
You said whatever that means. Whatever that means. Okay, go ahead.
You heard it loud and clear. They made a decision that they're going to protect her. The fact that she spoke her voice and used her freedom of speech just does not take away any protections, no matter what they are, that America provides for her. And once they make that decision that they're going to go over there, that's a protection. Once they make that decision that we're going to bring her home, that's a protection. The fact that she knelt does not take it away. I'm not going to explain it again.
I agree with that, Sam.
I'm not going to explain it again.
That's not why. That's not what we're going back.
Yeah, we can be finished with this because it's going nowhere.
I understand. I got you.
It's going nowhere.
Do you feel, Josh, that they shouldn't okay, not that they should try to bring her home, but do you feel like if the option is there for them to do this swap, this system where they're, swapping whatever her sentence is with this other gentleman for this, the merchant of death, do you feel like they should not do that?
I think it depends on the circumstances.
Okay, well, you know what the circumstance is now. Like, she got convicted of having 0.7 grams of hashish oil.
That's what she got. That's what she got convicted of in Russia. I don't know what the circumstances of are the trade or anything like that. I don't know. I legitimately don't know. But the notion that America has to do something for an American citizen that broke the law in another country with no agreement in place, and you don't know what those circumstances is, or what it's just that America says they're going to do something, so it's okay.
Who said that America has to do anything? Whoever said that?
You just made the argument that America has to do something, whatever those circumstances are.
No. I don't think you listened.
You're going back and forth here, Josh. You're killing me.
I don't think you listened. All he said
was if America is going to take a stance on any American citizen, you go here, this happens to you, we don't want you to stay there because that's wrong. You should be brought home. Doesn't matter who you are. You're from America. That's wrong.
On what grounds?
Oh my goodness.
On what grounds? Tell me what grounds. What law? What law?
I don't know.
Nobody. No.
You don't know.
No.
You have no idea.
You are.
Say, whatever.
Josh, you are so missing the point. It is ridiculous. Okay. It is ridiculous. Because nobody said that America has to do anything. Nobody said that at all.
That's what I was asking you, Sam.
How many times have I said to you that Okay. I have said this to you several times. Okay. How many times have I said that America doesn't have to do anything? You asked me what grounds, and I said there is none. All I said is you
said whatever. You said whatever those grounds are. Whatever those. Okay, you didn't say that.
No. You asked me, Josh. You really have to start listening. It's like you sit there and wait for your response and think about what you're going to say next instead of listening to what somebody else is saying. You asked me some time ago, what grounds does the United States have to go to another country? And I said, none. They don't have any grounds. That's what you asked me. When we're talking about protections, you're talking about overall protections. Right? I didn't say that they had to. It is America's job to go get this person or that person or whoever. But when they make a decision that this is what they're going to do, her action of taking a knee does not take her out of that protection that they decided to afford her.
Sam, I agree with that part. I'm not talking about the knee. I got rid of the knee thing a whole long time ago. I'm not talking about the knee. You're not listening to me now. Listen.
No, I am listening to you. I am listening to you.
I'm not talking about the knee. You said that America made the decision to protect her. I'm asking you on what grounds? What grounds does America have to protect her?
The argument is not whether or not they have the grounds. It's that they did make the decision.
Josh, you're asking a question. You're asking for specifics about a question that none of us would know the answer to. whatever rationalization they're using in order to try to bring her home. We don't know what statutes, what they're looking at to say, okay, this warrants us trying to do this for her. We don't know that.
That's my point, Ron. That's my point. You don't know.
But,
that's my point. That's the point.
But I don't understand why I don't understand where you're going with the point.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Because you think that Brittney Griner deserves something that you don't have no idea what she deserves.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I'm saying.
No one said she deserves anything. No one said that at all. No one said that America has any grounds to go over there and make any demands in Russia. No one said that. All we said is that once they make the decision that that's what they're going to do, she is not. She deserves it like anyone else once they make that decision. I can make a decision. Here we go. Maybe you can understand this. I can make a decision with my basketball team that I'm going to buy everybody pizza. I made that decision. It's not their inherent right for me to buy them pizza, but I made the decision that I'm going to buy everybody pizza. So once I made that decision that I'm going to buy everybody pizza, all of the players on my team deserve that pizza. Because I made that decision already. But it's not an inherent right that I'm going to buy them pizza. It's not an inherent right. It's just once I made the decision, though, they all deserve it. And I'm not going to exclude any of them because they all deserve it.
I think you were kind of trying to needle through this with a fine-tooth comb, Josh. I see in your mind where you're going with it, but I don't think that's where this conversation was going. The conversation was, you brought up the whole thing that there's a population out there that feels a certain way, that she took a knee and maybe thinks that she deserves whatever she's getting and we shouldn't step in, it's karma or whatever. That still lies. That still is out there. Those people still exist. Fine. Sim said the argument was dumb because it really has nothing to do with whether or not they should be going to get her or not, if they've already decided that they're looking into how to bring her back. You're saying that, well, what makes up that decision? What allows it to be so that they feel they can go get her, and why is this necessary? The only argument here is, it's not an argument. The only thing is, if you feel that this is the information you know, this is what the person, I'm not even saying her, this is what the person was caught with. This is the Russian government's laws, and this is why they're detaining her, and now they've sentenced her to this many years. If you feel Jack did this and he doesn't deserve to be out there, we got to go get Jack. Well, then that should be the same type of way you look at Brittney. I think that's the only thing Sim was trying to say. There's no reason to penalize her so that she shouldn't be looked at the same way that you're looking at someone else, because she didn't do anything to penalize herself. Now, if you said something before, you brought up the whole thing if she committed murder. If she committed murder, we wouldn't even be talking about it.
What do you mean? What if she did anything to penalize herself? She broke the law.
But how did she break the law, Josh?
She broke Russian law.
But how did she do it? Did she knowingly say, well, I know this is your law, so I'm going to bring my hashish oil, and if I get caught, it is what it is. My American government's going to go get me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know what you're saying, but it's not, I don't know either way. I can't say that she knowingly did this and knew that as a chance.
Does America, let me ask you a question. You're an American, Ron. You've been an American all your life, I'm assuming. Sim, you as well, right? Does ignorance of the law in America, can lawyers use that in their defendant's case? Ignorance of the law.
There are times when ignorance of the law does give you a lighter sentence. Not always, but there are times when it does. But to me, this isn't even about whether or not she committed the crime or if she knew she committed the crime. Our argument, our discussion, to me, is not about whether or not she committed the crime, if she intentionally committed the crime.
That's what Ron just said, though. Ron
right?
said
I'm talking about,
she knew whether she did it or not.
I'm talking about our argument. I think that was a little tangent that you guys had. I don't think it was about the overall argument and debate. right? Mine is not about whether or not she committed the crime. We know what happened. Intentionally or unintentionally, she broke the law there. Either way it was. She broke the law, right? That doesn't mean that automatically the U.S. has to go get her. No, of course not. But they made a decision to. And since they made that decision to, the actions that she took in kneeling does not exclude her from that decision.
I agree with that.
So to me, that's why I'm like, it's neither here nor there. Just like saying if she stole a piece of gum when she was 10 years old, so, they shouldn't make that decision. It's crazy to me.
I agree.
It's because that's neither here nor there.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
I don't know. I mean, you already know my stance on it. We talked about it for an hour before you got here, Josh, and now we've talked about this other thing for another half an hour, which I don't know.
For another hour.
I don't know where we're going with it.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised everybody's still here. I guess they just like to see the fireworks. We got more people on than we did before. They just want to see the fireworks.
The point that I was trying to make is that when Sim said that it's a dumb argument to bring up the fact that she kneeled, right? You can make the same argument for anybody that does anything in the United States because it doesn't matter. So you can't say that it's dumb because there's legitimate people that feel that way and have that argument against her, whether it matters or not. That's the point that I was trying to bring up.
I got that, Josh.
In this situation, that's what I was trying to bring up.
Circle just to right. You just said a little.
No, because you guys said that it was implied that America they need to go get her because she's an American citizen no matter what.
So in essence, what happened is your original argument that you were coming on the show to argue about changed when you heard something else that triggered you, and then it turned into why does this matter? That's what happened. You came in to talk about the kneeling, and now something else happened. You're like, well, whoa, you couldn't have that. I see what happened.
I'm sorry if I confused you guys.
And let me tell you this: I very rarely say that an argument is dumb. If I say that, that just means I have a lot of conviction about it, and I do. I mean, we argue about Nick's takes all the time, and I don't say, oh, you got a dumb argument. You know what I'm saying? I just, we talk about that's your opinion. I very rarely, and I know I'm not saying that was your opinion. I'm not saying that was your opinion. That's what I'm saying. I hope we bring her home. This has been a very spirited debate, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm glad we still got the number of people here. I don't know. He said play the theme song. That's what they're looking for, Josh. I'm sorry I had to do it. They're looking for the theme song. They were looking for the theme song.
I'm sure they do. Everyone calls an argument dumb, but they don't really listen to the other side. That's the whole crazy part. Both sides of it, the Republican and the Democratic argument. Listen, I'm an independent. Personally, I'm an independent. I don't support the Democrats or the Republicans. I just despise the fact when someone from one side calls the other argument dumb, because typically what happens is both sides tend to refer to hyperbole to get their argument across. And when you say that someone deserves something, you agree with something, right? And then can't name exactly why you agree with that certain topic. To me, that triggers me. And to me, I don't think that advances the conversation far enough.
I'm just saying, I never said,
in my opinion,
neither one of us said anyone deserves anything.
You say you agree with the fact that America should go get her.
No, I said I agree with their decision.
Why?
Because I want to see her come home.
Okay.
And I feel
me too, Sam. Me too. I want to see her come home.
I want to see her come home. And I feel that, it's not false imprisonment, but I feel like it's harsh. Right? And so I'd like to see her come home.
Can I ask you a question? If she didn't play in the WNBA, if she was a white guy from Kansas, would you feel the same way?
Yes.
All right.
If I knew about it.
Okay.
If she didn't play in the WNBA, like we said earlier, we probably wouldn't know about it. But if I knew about it, yeah, I would. But I'm not saying that there's an inherent right that she's going to be protected because she committed a crime over there. It's not. Just like if I go to California, I steal a piece of cheese. and I get caught. You know what I mean? Like in Maryland, they're gonna say, I don't know why you went there to steal cheese. We got cheese here. You know, I mean, but they may decide to bring me back if I'm important enough.
Okay, so can I actually? Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the original question. One of the original questions that I asked you: if someone goes to Russia and commits murder, do you feel the same way?
Do I feel the same way?
That person should be brought home.
If they go over there and they murder somebody, no.
Okay.
They shouldn't.
So it depends on the crime.
Oh, obviously, clearly,
Okay,
you have a certain level of crime. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like but I will say this: if America decided that this is what we're going to do, something that they did here, a freedom of speech or whatever that they did here, I don't think should have any bearing on what their decision is now.
You said, say that one more time, Sam, that last part. You said that if it's something that they did, if they would have done that same thing here, you don't feel like
no. If they would have murdered somebody here, of course you're gonna be like, no, they're a murderer.
In Russia or here?
Huh?
No, in Russia.
So they murdered somebody. What I'm saying, if the
Yeah.
country decided we're gonna protect this person. Let's say that murder was an accidental. They were hunting and they accidentally shot somebody, right? And then they were going to be punished for whatever they decided to do in Russia because they killed someone, right? But it was an accident, and the country decided we're going to bring this person home. Then, if they knelt, I'm not going to be like, nah, don't bring them home because they knelt.
No. So, Sam, again, I think I probably messed up by bringing up the whole kneeling thing to begin with. The whole purpose why I brought that up is because I feel like there's a certain demographic of the country, majority, or not, I can't say majority like you. There's a large demographic of the country that feels like she kind of gets what she deserves because of that. I personally don't agree with that, just like you. Hold on, Sam. I personally don't agree with that, just like you, because I believe it's a dumb argument.
What?
Right.
Wait, what'd you say?
He said
That
it.
part.
No.
That's
Wait.
why we got here.
No, that's not why.
No, those words, dumb argument, is how we got here. Because, so you can believe that someone has a dumb argument, but I can't?
No. Sam, what I'm trying to tell you is I agree with you on the fact that I don't necessarily agree with people that feel like because she knelt in this country or did anything in this country that it should matter. That part. But I feel like because you don't agree with someone that you shouldn't necessarily call.
But you just did.
You just did it yourself.
I guess you're right.
You just said someone's argument was dumb. So wait a minute, we went all of this. We went around for about an hour, so that you can then go call somebody else's argument dumb.
No, but I just want to say I do agree with you that I don't think that argument has a bearing on that. But if you want to call that argument dumb, you can call a million other arguments dumb on what Brittney Griner did in this country. If Brittney Griner would have stood tall and popped tall and saluted the flag, if Donald Trump would have did whatever he did and went to another country and did it, you can call that argument dumb as well because it has no bearing on it. And I feel like
we got to get a couch for you, Josh. We got to get a big sofa, nice cup of tea for you. You got to relax, brother.
So let me ask you. So Josh, what are you doing to bring her back? In your mind, what should the country do to get her back home? Yeah, are you
be diplomatic, diplomacy?
Because
that's the only thing you really can do.
Because
diplomacy.
Like we brought, like we talked about earlier, Brittney Griner got 9 years. Paul Whelan, he's got 16 years. That's 25 years. Victor Bout, 25 years, sentenced to 25 years. It seems like they gave her 9 years so that those years can even out, so that they can try to get Victor Bout home. Right? I mean, to me, it seems like that's their strategy. Right? Where do you give them Victor Bout? Do you do that prisoner exchange?
I'm all about diplomacy. I mean, if it means giving up another prisoner or whatever to bring her home, if that's something you really want to do, then I feel like that's something, that's what you want to do. However, I feel like diplomacy matters. You got to be able to negotiate. You got to be able to talk to other countries.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people don't want America to talk to nobody. America doesn't negotiate with whoever, right? That's how people feel about that. And I feel diplomacy is the only way you can fix whatever problems you have going on in the world, whether it be war, whether it be prisoner swaps or anything like that. So diplomacy matters. Diplomacy can come in many forms. Diplomacy can come in the form of just talking. It can come in the form of trade. Trade of prisoners. When I say trade in the first part, I meant just international trade of supplies and the supply system. But diplomacy comes in many forms. It doesn't necessarily have to be a prisoner swap. So I just feel like America should be open to negotiating. And a lot of times people don't feel like America should negotiate. They should have this hardline stance, but that doesn't really get us anywhere historically, from a historical standpoint. Right. So I just want America to be able to talk and communicate.
Are you willing to send back? I mean, obviously, what we're willing to do doesn't mean anything, but are you willing to send back Victor Bout, the merchant of death, the sanctions buster? That's his nicknames, right? Are you willing to send him back to bring home Brittney Griner and Paul Whelan?
No, I'm not willing to do that.
That's what I asked you. That's what I was trying to ask you before. Like, how you felt about the actual, transaction of possibly swapping to bring her back, because they're not just going to send her back. They're only going to do it if they figure out some negotiation where they do some type of swap here.
Yeah, so me personally, the reason why,
No, I was gonna say, I don't, I'm up in there. I don't know. Yeah. It's tough because, this, from all that I've read about this dude, like, it's a bad dude.
Yeah, for me, prisoner swaps don't get it done because, ultimately, when you release prisoners and you start swapping prisoners out, it just shows, to me, that's a sign of weakness. You convicted this person in the court of your own law, right? And now you want to swap him out just to get someone out of jail who actually, who got convicted in some other courts of law. So to me, that's not something I will personally do. Mm-hmm. I don't care what Brittney Griner did or how minor we as Americans may feel what she did. For me, I'm all about diplomacy. I think there's other ways to negotiate it, to talk about it. If Russia wants to have a hard stance about it, I feel like, there's nothing we can really do at that point, or our options are limited in that point. There's other ways we can negotiate. I just don't agree with the fact that America should just hold firm and be this country that, we don't negotiate with terrorists and we don't do this and we don't do that, because ultimately you don't get anything done at the end of the day by taking that stance.
Right.
That's just how I feel about it.
You're not going to get anything done. No, I agree with you 100%. You're not going to get anything done that way, right? You got to be able to. It's such a sticky situation with everything going on in Ukraine, right? And it's just a bad situation for Brittney Griner. You know what I mean? It's a bad situation for her. Because it's a tough one. It's a tough one. There's going to be backlash no matter which way it goes. If she comes home, there's going to be backlash. If she stays, there's going to be backlash.
Sim, can I address that backlash you're talking about, though? Because this is what I guess I kind of mixed the arguments up or whatever.
But Josh,
that backlash. Okay, go ahead.
Before you go, no, I got to get out of here, guys. Listen, this is a spirited conversation. None of us have all the answers. We don't know what's going to happen with the situation. We all just want to see her come home safely. But it really comes down to because the bottom line that I worry about is you don't want to do this swap. Bring Brittney Griner home. And then whoever's merchant of death dude does something horrific out there. Right. Because how can, I don't know. It's bad. I don't know. There's no winning in this one. So
it's a tough one. All right, Ron. All right, appreciate you, man. I only got a couple more minutes myself, so appreciate you though.
I'll catch y'all.
Sim, real quick, I just want to say it sets a dangerous precedent. I think that's what Ron was trying to get at. It sets a dangerous precedent when you release someone like that. But the main thing that I was trying to say in regards to all of this situation was America can't win in this type of situation. First of all, we're in the midterm season, midterm elections, right? So the Democrats are going to want to take up this issue in regards to bringing Brittney Griner home. If you got Steph Curry, LeBron James that want to step on the forefront for this issue. Mm-hmm. You got the LGBT community, you got Black people, you got women, and that's typically a Democratic issue, right? So this is something that they want to actually take charge of. However, doing something like this and actually making a trade might piss off someone like Ukraine, like Andy said when we talked about in the chat earlier. Right. So the Democrats are in a really tough situation in regards to this. I'm not saying that Brittney Griner doesn't have any type of, no one really cares. But I do believe there could be a situation where the Democrats can actually, as far as midterms are concerned, try to get those votes.
Yeah.
And once the midterms are done, see ya, bye. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
no,
that's definitely possible in this situation.
it's tough. She's caught in a political logjam, man. You know, because like I was saying to Ron, and Big Freezy, there's international politics, and then there's local at home politics that she's also caught in the middle of. You know, domestic politics that she's caught in the middle of. It's a tough one. It's definitely a tough one for her, man. Well, I guess we'll see where it goes. Who knows how it's gonna happen, but we'll see where it goes. And
I do want to, but Sim, I mean, I don't want to go back to who we were before. I just want to say that America does not deserve Brittney Griner does not deserve America's protection. She does not deserve America's protection, and I feel like when you were making your points earlier, that's what you were trying to convey. I know you said you didn't.
I wasn't.
But okay, but that's the way I took it. That's the way I took it.
I wasn't making that point whatsoever, right? But I wouldn't use the word deserve. I wouldn't. I would more say it's not her inherent right.
Of course.
It's not just a straight up right that if you go to another country, your country is going to protect you. You know, it's not an inherent right. I think deserve and having the right to do something, you know, having a right and deserve are two different things, I think. Two different things.
Okay. Sounds like the same thing to me, but okay.
No, I think they're two different things. If you deserve, you know, I have the right to freedom of speech. I have the right to bear a firearm.
You have the right to vote.
I have the right to vote. Okay. I have those rights, but there are certain things that I may deserve or not deserve, even if I have the right to do something. I may have the right to drive a car, but if I've been in 5 accidents, I may not deserve to drive a car. That doesn't mean I don't have the right to do so. I think those are two different things.
So she doesn't have the right, but she deserves protection from America.
She doesn't have the inherent right. Like, you know, this is just the straight up right. No person has just the straight up right that if you go to another country, that country's going to come get you. Or your country's going to come get you.
But she deserves it, is what you're saying. Does
she deserve it right now?
Yeah.
Because the country decided they're going to do it. Yeah, she deserves it like any other person. Like any other person. Any other person that the country decides they're going to do whatever for.
Okay, so,
she deserves that.
Okay. She's the only person to get in trouble, ever. Nobody else ever got in trouble. She's the only one. Does she deserve it? I'm asking the question.
Say that again?
She's the only person to ever get in trouble overseas. No one else has ever got in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There is no precedent. There's nobody else. Does she deserve protection from America?
Depends on what she did.
Okay.
Depends on what she did, right? It depends on, obviously, you know, I mean, it really shouldn't depend on the political situation. You know, it really shouldn't, you know, but, you know, obviously the way things go is going to depend on the political situation. You know what I'm saying? You know, but, you know, things are, I mean, there's always going to be X factors in there. It's going to depend on, you know, well, what did you do? What kind of.
Do you believe in karma, Sam? Karma at all?
I do.
Okay.
I believe in karma.
So you believe in the karma. Do you feel like, and I know this has no bearing on it, it's a dumb argument, like you said. Do you feel like, hold on, wait a minute, Sam. Do you feel like her kneeling for the anthem gives her bad karma in this situation?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Because I feel like bad karma. I feel like bad karma has to do with, I don't know how to explain it. There are certain things that are just wrong no matter what.
Doing something wrong and something wrong is going to come back around.
Right. I mean, things that are wrong no matter what. I stole from somebody. Right? That's wrong no matter what. Okay?
What about taking something for granted?
Right? I don't think taking something for granted is inherently wrong. It could be a mistake, right? It may not be inherently wrong.
No. I'm saying the karma part, not the inherently wrong. The karma part. The karma, taking something for granted.
I don't think so. I think it has to
Okay,
do with things that are just straight up for me, right? You know, I'm walking down the street and I see this dude over there and I just want to punch him. Doop. Bad karma's coming back to me somewhere along the way. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just, you know, that's just a straight up wrong to another person. You know, I did something wrong to that person. You know, I see an old lady and I steal her pocketbook. Bad karma coming back to me. You know what I'm saying? My intentions, I also feel, have to do with karma. You know what I'm saying? Because I could make a mistake and do something wrong, but my intentions weren't wrong. I didn't have bad intentions. I might have had good intentions, but then it went wrong, and then it ended up being something that went bad towards somebody else. You know what I mean? So I don't think that you know, in her, I don't think she had bad intentions taking the knee. You know, so you know, good conversation, man. Good conversation. This is what? This is the second one in 2 days? 3 days?
Feels like it. Feels like it. Josh has the dumb argument. Josh is taking a contradictory opinion.
Ladies and gentlemen,
opinion.
me and this man right here, we've been at it for a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? Our different opinions, but it's all good. It's all love. It happens like that. You know what I mean?
Always.
You know, it happens like that. And what you heard tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know, you know, where you grew up and stuff like that, but you know what I mean? As a young man sitting on the front stoop, I've been in a whole bunch of arguments like this and had a whole bunch of people open up their windows and, well, y'all shut the hell up and go to bed. Trust me, I have. Because we be outside yelling, mosquitoes biting and everything. And then afterwards, we go home, get up in the morning and go shoot hoop or something like that. So, you know, that's what happens, man. It's all love.
Always.
It's all love. Josh, I appreciate your time. Be easy out there. You know, I don't know if I'm getting on MBK tomorrow. Not a lot of Nick news going on, so I don't know if I'm getting on MBK tomorrow or anything like that. But I don't know. You got a controversy coming up, or you've been in a lot of controversy this week, and you know, so
I'm saving this, Sam. Obviously, there's no media to cover it. The Knicks don't want to talk to the media, so nothing for me to really talk about.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we out of here, man. Be peaceful. One.